You check your phone in the dark, waiting for a text that never comes. The phone sits on your nightstand, its screen lighting up with no new messages. It's just glass and plastic. But to you, it feels like a verdict. Why do we replay our earliest fears of abandonment in our adult relationships? And is our style of love as fixed as we think? After this, the next time you feel that familiar panic in the quiet, you'll see the exact blueprint your childhood left behind. The midnight text. Why does a silent phone feel so heavy? Imagine you're lying in bed. It's past midnight. The only light in the room comes from the screen of your phone on the dark nightstand. You look at it again. You've checked it 20 times in the last hour. The screen shows they read your message 3 hours ago. Still, no reply. A quiet panic starts to build in your chest. Your bedroom suddenly feels cold. You tell yourself to put the phone face down. You tell yourself to just sleep, but you can't. You feel small, exposed. You might tell yourself that you're too needy. You might feel ashamed of how much you care. But this panic is not a sign of weakness. In the 1950s, psychoanalysts named John Bowlby proposed that we are wired this way, suggesting that our need for closeness is a survival instinct. To a baby, isolation doesn't just mean feeling lonely, it means death. A newborn can't feed itself or stay warm. It relies entirely on a caregiver to survive. If that caregiver moves away, a biological alarm goes off. The baby cries, reaches out, and does everything it can to bring the caregiver back. This is the attachment system. It's a safety switch built deep inside our biology. When the person we love is close, we feel safe. Our bodies calm down. But when they pull away, the alarm sounds again. We don't outgrow this system when we get older. We don't leave it behind when we start paying rent or going to work. We carry the same quiet fear into our adult lives. A missed call or a late text can trigger the exact same panic a baby feels when left alone in the dark. Still, not everyone reacts to this alarm in the same way. Some of us scream. Some of us shut down. To understand why, researchers in the 1970s designed a simple test. They put mothers and their babies into a playroom, and then they watched what happened when the mother walked out the door. The Playroom Test. That quiet panic you feel when your phone screen stays dark on the nightstand, it didn't start with a missed text. It didn't start with your last relationship or the one before that. It started long ago. In a quiet room with bright linoleum floors and a pile of wooden blocks. Picture a child, a 12-month-old toddler, sitting on a thin blue rug. The room is unfamiliar. Toys are scattered around, like a plastic truck and some painted blocks. The mother sits in a chair nearby, watching. The child feels safe to explore. They reach for a red block and tap it against the floor. Then, a stranger walks in. A few moments later, the mother gets up and quietly walks out. This was a test designed by a psychologist named Mary Ainsworth in the 1970s. Her work ran parallel to the publication of the Attachment and Loss trilogy. These ideas changed how we view human bonds. Ainsworth wanted to observe how infants react when a caregiver leaves. She found that children don't all react the same way. While some children might show distress or protest when the caregiver departs, others might show different reactions or appear quiet in the unfamiliar environment. There were also children who showed no alteration in their attachment behaviors at all during the separation, remaining calm. To the observers, it appeared as though the separation did not trigger the expected distress. This led researchers to realize that separation anxiety and fear of strangers were not as universal as they had anticipated, prompting a shift in how attachment was understood and measured. Even form a sentence, you'd already figured out how to protect yourself from the pain of being left. You built a shield. If you cried and nobody came, you learned to stop crying. If you were held only when you were quiet, to hide your fear. We developed these survival strategies before we even had the words to explain them. You carried those strategies out of that playroom. You grew up, but you kept them close. And without you ever realizing it, those early survival rules began to write a hidden set of instructions, a script for how you act when someone gets close. The invisible script. The playroom test ended, the toys were put away, and the children grew up. But the patterns didn't stay in the lab. Picture this. You are lying in bed on a Tuesday night. You stare at a phone on a dark nightstand, its screen lighting up with no new messages. The silence in the room feels heavy. It feels like a threat. So you pick it up and send a text you know will start an argument. You tell yourself you are just standing up for yourself. You tell yourself they have been distant lately. But deep down, you just need the noise. Any response is better than nothing. Or maybe you do the opposite. You sit across from someone at a diner, and they look you in the eyes and tell you they love you. Your chest tightens. You don't feel happy. You feel trapped. Before you even pay the bill, you are planning your exit. You tell yourself they are too needy. You tell yourself you just aren't ready. In both moments, you feel like you are making a conscious choice. You feel like you are the one in the driver's seat, but you aren't. In the 1980s, psychologists realized that our adult romances are often just mirrors of how we were held or ignored as toddlers. The coping mechanisms you built to survive your first home are the same ones you use to build your current one. If you had to cry loudly to get noticed as a baby, you'll scream to get noticed now. If you had to hide to stay safe back then, you'll run away today. The old survival rules still run the show. We think we are searching for love. Most of the time, we are just searching for what feels familiar, even if what feels familiar is pain. But there is a trap waiting for people who finally learn the name of their pattern, and it usually locks them in place. The trap of the label. You might believe you are simply acting out an invisible script, playing a part that was written for you before you even learned to speak. But it is easy to let that explanation turn into an excuse. Suppose this. You are sitting on the edge of your mattress at 2 in the morning. The blue light of your phone screen washes over your face. You have just finished a 30-question online quiz about how you love. You tap the final submit button, and the screen flashes your result in bold gray letters, avoidant. At first, it feels like a relief. It gives a name to the coldness you felt when your last partner tried to get close. It explains why you backed away. So you take this new label and you wear it like armor. The next time someone asks you to open up, you pull back. You tell yourself it is just how you are wired. The phone sits on the dark nightstand, its screen lighting up with no new messages. You did this, but you blame the label. You have turned a temporary response into a permanent identity, using it to justify the walls you build around yourself. We treat these categories like our blood type, something fixed at birth that we must carry to the grave. But that is not what the science actually shows. In the mid-1980s, a researcher named Michael Lamb looked closely at the ways we measure these bonds. He and his team showed that these attachment classifications are not permanent traits locked inside a child. They are reactions. They are reflections of what is going on in the social environment during the procedure itself, rather than stable traits inherent to the child or caregiver. You are not a broken machine. You are a living system responding to the weather around you. If your style is not a life sentence, it means you are not helpless. But this realization brings a different kind of weight. Because if you cannot blame your childhood script for your distance, you have to look at what you are doing right now. You have to look at what you are asking from the people you let in, which leads to a dangerous expectation we carry into the dark. The weight of one person. Now, think about a Tuesday evening. You're sitting at the kitchen table, staring at a stack of bills. Your chest feels tight. Your partner walks in, tired from their own 9-to-5, and drops their keys on the counter. You look up. Without saying a word, you want them to fix this. You need them to be the financial safety net that catches you. But you also need them to be the therapist who listens to your panic, the best friend who gets your jokes, and the anchor who keeps you grounded. You expect them to hold up your entire world. It's a heavy ask. When they walk past you to grab a glass of water, missing the quiet plea in your eyes, something shifts. You feel a cold wave of disappointment. You tell yourself they don't care. You assume the relationship is broken. And you start planning your exit in your head. But maybe the love isn't gone. Maybe it's just crushed under the weight of your expectations. Early thinkers like John Bowlby wrote about how babies survive. A child needs a primary caregiver to feel safe when the world gets scary. But somewhere along the way, we carried that childhood blueprint straight into our adult lives. We took the idea of a single secure base and demanded that our romantic partner play every single role. We forgot that humans were never meant to survive in isolation. True safety comes from building a wider circle. It means relying on the friend you text when you're stressed, the coworker who shares the load, and the sister who knows your history. When you demand that one person satisfy every single need, you set them up to fail every single time. So you sit there in the quiet kitchen, watching them wash their glass at the sink. You can keep waiting for them to become everything. Or you can look at the phone on your nightstand, its screen lighting up with no new messages, and realize how quiet you've let your world become. But opening up that circle means facing a different kind of risk. It forces you to look at the one fear you've been running from since the very beginning. You check your phone in the dark, waiting for a text that never comes. We replay these early fears because our first relationships gave us a map for survival, and we still use it to navigate the present. But that map isn't a permanent cage. Your style of love isn't fixed. You can reshape how you connect. by changing the environment you build today, one quiet choice at a time. It starts when you decide to sit with the silence. Instead of letting the old Canuck run the show, take a breath.